Hello, man. Hello, Mgtows. How y'all doing today? Let me see. Hello, man. There we go. How y'all doing today? Let me see. Start this up. Hello, man. Hello, Mgtows. Today we're going to talk about incel porn. Incel porn. What is incel porn? Well, there's levels. There's levels. There's levels of incel porn, and it goes from one extreme to a very minor extreme. What we see at the very minor extreme is it's just people making Mgtow's offers. It's an offer. It's an offer of making incels an offer of that white picket fence and that beautiful house and that American dream and that perfect female that comes to the door, and she's just got bakery. She's like, she baked all day and she's wearing an apron, and she's like, I'm so glad you're home. We're back in the 1950s with Wally Beaver and the Cleavers. We're back in the 50s with or the 30s, and that's incel porn. When someone makes you that offer, we're going to go back to a better world. We see this around. I kind of watched it the other day between the argument between Jank and Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson was offering the incel porn. We're going to go back to that 50s. Men are going to make more money than women, and everything's going to be great, and we'll have this glass ceiling, and men will be like the patriarchy will be in control, and there'll be just women just like draping off of you, just please take me home. That's incel porn. That's incel. It's fantasy fiction world. It's like Disney. It's like Sleeping Beauty. You're just going to be walking through the woods. There, inside of a glass container, is going to be this princess, and you're the prince, and all you got to do is just give her a little kiss, and she wakes up, and your whole world changes. And these princesses laying all over the woods. We call them rhino unicornuses in Mgtow. They're just grazing out there in the wilderness, and all you got to do is go pluck one out of the herd that you like. Incel porn. It goes to the other extreme, and I think what we see in the other extreme, and that utopian world, that non-utopian world, and the utopian, that's the utopian. That's the utopian world of incel porn, and then there's the apocalyptic world. These things go from extremes. We have the apocalyptic world where there's going to be war and famine. If the feminists keep doing what they're doing, there's going to be war and famine, and cats will be doing dogs, and it'll be raining acid, and I'm going to be the only one left because I'm so badass, and there's just going to be women draping themselves, and I'll have to drag them along with me, like 1 foot at a time, just dragging all these women, and I'll have this harem because I'll be the last dude left. It's like Call of Duty or something, you're on this world that's just all torn up, and you're just, I'm the baddest thing that ever walked. That's another extreme of incel porn. So we have two sort of kinds there. We have the utopian dream of incel porn, where they offer you things, and sometimes they offer you things to have the same political outviews as them. You come over to our party, and our party is going to our party's got feminists, and man, they're just slinging that P all over the place, that split V on the one side, and then on the other side, they're like, come on over to our party, and we got these beautiful women they got aprons on, and they're making you fucking bakery, and it's 1950, and everybody's got a great job, and we're all sitting we're all those ad men in those big office buildings sitting there selling ads and smoking cigarettes and drinking bourbon because we're in charge. That's more incel porn. And on the other side, it's like we got these going galters, or these we got these going galters that they're waiting on the zombie apocalypse. They're buying shit like this. They're like, yeah, I can't wait till the zombies come and all the women will know that I'm the man. I'm just going to pop them. Boom. One zombie down. Boom. Two zombie down. And that's a real fantasy world there. And then there's those middlers that everything's going to end. Everything's going to end. These middle earth people, like everything's going to end. And I'm going to be the last guy because I'm so badass. I'm going to be the only guy left on this planet. And there's just going to be this desert planet. It ain't going to even have water anymore. And I'm the only guy with water. And we get all wrapped up into this stuff. And I hear it over and over in Mgtow. I hear it over and over on those on all the videos. It goes from the light extremes to, man, this thing's just gonna, somehow the Antifa and the Proud Boys are gonna fight, and it's gonna kick off a civil war in America. And after all that's through, like, we're just gonna have like all the leftover girls are just going to be draping themselves over us, be like selling showers. I'll be like the only guy with water in my neighborhood. I'll be like selling showers. Like, I'm going to be rich because I'm going to be the only guy left. That's porn. And then it goes for real light versions, political incel porn. And that's the kind that bothers me because it's more centered and based in reality. The political incel porn. On one end, we got the real far leftists, and they're offering we got feminists over here, and those feminists, they just want to take their shirts off and like, woo, they're party girls, woo, they just want to get naked and they're free sex girls, and then you find out there's Mgtow that comes along with that, and everybody's pretty much the same way, and they just want to get married and have a slave for the rest of their life. And on the far right, they're offering you this 1950s utopian world. We can bring it back. We're going to tail this thing back, man. We're going to tail it back. Woo! And incels buy into that. And some of the Mgtows buy into it too. And that's why I wanted to talk about this. It's this fantasy fiction world that we all live in, we all draw. And I think it has to do with I'll boil it down to philosophy because I like philosophy on these things. It's Freud's breasts. Well, us men do that when we're young men, and even old men do that. Freud's breasts. You know what Freud's breasts are, guys? Freud's breast is in the inner theater of the male mind. There's always this perfect set of breasts that you want to see on a woman. She got the perfect body. You got this image of this perfection, and that's in your head, and that's the inner theater. You got this inner theater dream, and that's where fairy tales are come on, and that's where you can do anything inside your inner theater. And we tend to take these fantasy fiction ideas inside. This is what my perfect female would, this is what my Nawalt would look like. And then she's got the perfect ones. And you can get a non-biological woman, and that costs you about $1,300 nowadays. And she will look like that. She'll have, 40 pounders up here, and her total body weight will be like 110 pounds, And you can build a perfect non-biological woman, and that's fantasy fiction porn. You're just making, it's a non-biological image of a woman, and they like that, and that's like, this is what I want. And it's more incel porn in my book. It's more incel porn. It's like it, but they do real pornographic things with it. And so we have this problem of Freud's breast. We can make up these things in our head, and we get these ideas when we're kids, and what are that perfect set? And Jung went into this too. Carl C.J. Jung, you can pronounce it how you want. I don't really care. He went into the perfect set with the rat boy, and what was the perfect idea of the perfect living. And we bring this perfect idea of this perfect living into this world, and it's just an idea. It's a vision in my head of how how I draw up my fantasy fiction world. It's like I live in this great house. It looks like a castle, and it's got like these 40-foot doors that I got to swing open when I come in. And then like, man, there's just everything's perfect. And it's like the Bud Light commercial. And it's like Budweiser for everyone. Woo! And that's more fantasy fiction world and everything. But it's not real. And Freud's breast, the problem with Freud's breast is no matter how you get out into the world, and I always say no expectation, no disappointment. I don't have any expectation out of people. There's no expectation, no disappointment. I don't put those expectations into the world of these perfect breasts, because I know every time she's going to take their shirt off, they're going to be like, ah, man, they're not the ones inside my head. The ones inside my head are slightly perkier and more round, and they got perfect colors to them, and they're better than that. And you're like sitting there, and I've been through this with every woman I've ever been with in my life. I'm sitting there going, well, her body falls short of that image that I had in my head. Now, you can, like I said, you can get the non-biological woman, and then you can sit there on the computer and make her exactly what you want, the non-biological one, and you can put that in your room or your bed, or put it on your couch, and it doesn't move, and it may have some speech functions or something. I told you guys what I'd put on there. I was like, the speech, oh, you so big, you so handsome. It would be like a positive affirmation tape for me, like, Joe, you're so sexy. And but I really don't need that, because I'm a pretty man. I am sexy as hell. I know it drives you guys nuts when I say that, but yeah, Freud's breast, whatever those things are, they're not going to come true. None of us get porn girl from the internet. None of us, very few of us do. We have to settle with what is out there, and what is out there always falls short of your fantasy fiction world. And but in that idea, and Freud and Jung explained this to us, in that idea, the inner theater, what we make up in the inner theater, and then what happens after that. Descartes says, like, we have to go to reductionalism, and reductionalism is you have to reduce to whatever your idea of this perfect fantasy world is. You're going to have to practice reductionalism and then settle on that. And we see this a lot around. We see this a lot around Mgtow, and this is why all roads lead to Mgtow. When you hear these people talking about, they want us to settle on the used up ones, and that's reductionalism. You got to know by the time you're going to be 30 years old that every one of them is going to be used. You're not getting a fresh one. Nobody gets a fresh one, except maybe when you're 14 or 15. You might be one of those lucky guys that got a fresh one, and that was highly overrated. And it was probably your first time was probably really disappointing. You're sitting there like, man, that wasn't what I thought it was going to be. That wasn't what all the books and all the old guys told me. They said it was going to be heaven on earth, and it was just like, yeah, she was complaining, and it kind of hurt, and it wasn't what you drew it up to be, and all that stuff. But that's more fantasy fiction stuff in our heads. So you go to reductionalism, and that's what they want out of us in the world, and that's the natural step when we see these things. And like I said, Jank and Tucker Carlson, we're going a little back and forth with that. And then the next step, the next obvious, Descartes, he talks about these things. He talks about these steps, the mind, the human mind, and how it functions and everything. And we're going to go from this step to this step and this step. And then we're going to get to reductionalism, where you have to reduce your vision of the world so it kind of comes down into reality, where reality meets your concept of the world. And that's pretty much where you're going to have to find yourself at. And drawing up all that, when I see the incel porn, and I could probably go, if I typed in if I typed in today, Mgtow, and then put in today, and then looked at all the videos that were done today, I could probably see there's going to be about 50 videos. A common is 40 to 50, sometimes 30, sometimes less. And I start wondering why we only have less, but it'll be about 50 videos a day in our little video club where we're pumping videos out into the ether with no feedback on that. But they feel us. We know they feel us and everything because they all run upon one of our videos at a certain point. And but out of those 50 videos or so, I'm going to see about 10 or 12 of them that are pretty much incel porn. And it, it used to not bother me. And I would say, yeah, the cats, they just got to grow up. And the cats, so you're going to learn that, having having a clear view of the world you live in and having a clear view of yourself takes a serious introspection and stuff like that. I don't want to go into that today. I don't think I should have to. Having a clear view of the world is important as a Mgtow. And incel porn. Sorry about that. It wasn't from the diaphragm, was it? I was bring it up from the diaphragm and at least make it worth a belch, So living in the now and living in the real world is important for a Mgtow because it gives us a better path in our lives. And throwing away that Disney childish stuff of that fantasy fiction world that we used to live in. That's a hard thing to do. That's what the red pills are doing. Every time you get one of these guys that take a red pill, it's taking off one of those layers. Everybody's like an onion, It takes off one of those layers, and you're stripping down that layer of blue pill. Blue pill, I don't know what you would call it. It was like a skin that insulates them from the truth. And you strip away one of those, and then they may grow it back too, because they grow back those shields that insulate them from the truth, and they live in this fantasy fiction world of theirs, and they can make it almost happen. That's where I was in my life too. Man, I'm right there. I'm a bar owner. I got a great job. I'm an electrician. The world's working out for me. And everything's right there in my sight. And I want to move my family out into the country, and I start buying this land, and I work the land, and I cut down all the trees on it and work hard on that stuff and get ready to place this house that I wanted. It was like had these beautiful windows that wrapped around and looked out into the forest, and then all that comes to a screeching halt with the words like, "She's not happy. I'm not happy." I'm not happy. And all your fantasy, you're working towards that fantasy fiction world, and those words come, "I'm not happy." It's like, really? Really? And it's a shocking moment. And I know you guys all been through that. We're working for that incel porn. We're working to that point that someone told us that, man, you can be like Trump and live in that big house, and you can be like Bill Gates, and you're going to be that lucky cat, that one lucky cat that's going to do that. And most of the people I know in this world, it was just they built up to. I've had friends even build up to that where they almost had that perfect world. They almost had it, and then it came tumbling down again and again and again. And man, God bless those people that can get it and keep it. You got to have a lot of money in America if you're going to get it and keep it, because that $500,000-$700,000 house in Ohio that's a mansion in Ohio, by the way. That would be like $5 million in California. That takes a lot of money and a lot of hard work, and it takes a lot of your soul to keep that. And everybody wants it, and everybody wants to take it. And your city's taxing you at like at $1,200 a month, so you're paying them rent to live in your house. And you find out all these little things as you go. You're paying them rent to live in your house, and they're giving you permission to have your fantasy fiction world in this little cul-de-sac and somewhere in backwoods Ohio. You have your little cul-de-sac with all the rich people. And you're like, we've made it. We're the special ones. But I watched that thing for a few years, and that dissolves. And most of the time, it's with them few simple words: "Is I'm not happy." And she's looking over at Frank, the neighbor, or Jim, and she's like, "I'm moving up. I'm moving on up to the next guy." They should make that movie instead of Jefferson's. They make that moving on up to the next guy. Because they're never happy. The Red Queen keeps running. The Red Queen keeps running. That's cryptic female choice. If you don't know, the Red Queen keeps on running, and that fantasy fiction world that you had comes tumbling down on your face. She's like, man, some guys will jump back on that, and they'll start redoing the incel porn. It's like, oh, geez, we all do it, and we got when you look at the guys like Tucker Carlson and guys like Jank and guys like, they got them great jobs and they got these platforms and everything, so they can afford to be. Yeah, it's just his other guys, the incels, all the incels. But the truth of the matter is 90% of the world, you and I, we don't get those opportunities. We don't get those platforms, and I don't know how you get that. I was talking about that today with my friend. If I'd cut my hair clean up, and even back in the day, I knew a very influential person in Turner TV, and I was like, man, how do I get one of those platforms? And it's like, I don't know how you get them still, and I guess you have to be chosen by the gods, and I don't know who the gods are. I wish they would introduce me to the gods. But those don't happen, but oh God, what is it, like 6%, maybe 5% of the world get these magic platforms to work off of, or become CEOs of these things back here. Yeah, right there. Yeah, there and there and there. You get that top building right up there, right there. Yeah. And you have to take that one up. That looks like a generator house there, but that's my building. I work down there in the generator house. and make sure they have water and stuff like that. That's what I do for a living, so. But in reality, 90% of us are somewhere between the bottom and the top, and we're struggling to get on you got your little desk job, or you're the maintenance mechanic, or you're the police officer, or you're the regular guy, and all this stuff is never going to transpose for you. Somebody's not going to walk into your life. No one's going to walk through these doors, and Ted Turner's not going to walk through these doors, and he's going to go, wow, Joe, like, you're so great, I discovered you. It's like, oh man, I am, and I'm pretty. I am really pretty, and yeah, that's more incel porn. It's not going to happen. But sometimes these guys have different views about the way the world is, because they got opportunity, and they're the part of the. I never considered Tucker or Jank. I look at Jank and all I see is a guy fatter than me. And I look at Tucker and I go, man, I could beat that guy up in about 3 seconds. And I never considered them the alpha males, but Jesus. I mean, the media idea of the alpha male is really kind of screwed up. Me and SFM used to laugh about. And I said it jokingly, Matthew McConaughey. It's like, wow, look, it's Matthew McConaughey. He's the alpha. and SFM would go, oh no, that's not the alpha. Because just in a real world, at Matthew McConaughey working in a steel mill, you would go, we need those bars moved over there. And he'd look at you and go, man, I don't think I could do that. they're 200 pounds a piece, and I haven't lifted more than like 50 pounds ever in my life, you know. And that's the concept of the alpha male is broken down. Is the broken down concept of the alpha male is from even the 50s and the 60s, and when you had I mean, you knew, was it John Wayne? He was just rough and tumble. He could do that. You know, if he was working in a steel mill, he'd be a working steel mill worker. They could put a oil rig hat on him, which they did. He had worked in an oil rig on one of his movies. I mean, he was just rough and tumble. And but that idea of the alpha males past and gone, and some of the things that I see now, they live in these fantasy fiction worlds, and this is how incel porn has crept in to our images of the world and Jung's breast. There's still, I don't know what the concrete jungle. Yeah, Bob Meyer, the concrete jungle. Yeah, we get closer and closer to this utopian idea of a world, and everybody, that's what everybody wants is, oh man, we're just gonna have this America, and it's just gonna be a beautiful place. There's be girls running around with their shirts off, and nobody gets pregnant, and nobody gets pregnant without permission. And everybody everybody does, we're beautiful people, and there's a block party going on every block. And we all make above 100,000, 100K. And my idea of heaven, and I stole this from one of the other guys, is, man, heaven is where everybody makes more money than everybody else, you know. The utopian. But as we work forward in this thing, we get closer, and then it represents itself in the press. And some of these times, I think these guys, their idea of incel porn is like, is really kind of creepy and off the mark. And they're feeding us this stuff, and they want you, all they really want is you to be members of their their group, their party. They want to sell you on whatever it is, sell you on Trumpism, sell you on Bernie Sandersism, and sell you on Hillary Clintonism. If you go over to this side, it's going to be, man, there's going to be these crazy feminists, and them crazy feminists are going to be, they're carefree, and they're marching through the streets without their shirts on. It's like, woo. I always thought that the incels, if they really wanted to, they'd have better luck over on the liberal side. It's like, because the idea of the Sarah Palins and the Michelle Bachmans and the ones like that on the far left, that them girls they just ain't gonna be doing that with the incels. They're looking for I don't know what they're looking for. They're looking for what the hell? Okay, I don't know what got all over my desk. Something got all over my desk. I don't know what it is. Some kind of, I don't know. Oh, I know what it was. I was doing an experiment. But I know I do that things. But yeah, there's this idea, but that's all bred up through the that's all bred in us from Pixar when we're kids, and Cars and Disney, and there's going to be this princess somewhere out there. I'm just going to be walking through the woods. I'm the huntsman or something, and I'm going to run on Red Riding Hood, and she's going to be like, oh, this big bad wolf's after me, and I'll be like, bam. Yeah, like bam, and then she's like drapes herself all over me, and she's perfect. I've been in the woods a lot of times in my life hunting, and it's just never seen it. I mean, I'm like, man, I'm just, you can get caught up in fantasy fiction world like that, and you'll be out there in the woods searching all the time. I know it's out here. It's just that I am so freaking unlucky. Wow. I'm 54, 55, and I am so unlucky. It's just evaded me my whole life. And Jung talked about these things, and Freud. As much as I hate Freud because he thinks everything has to do with your mother, which is ridiculous. But But they went over this stuff and explained it to me, and most people don't listen. It's just whatever your vision of the perfect set of breasts are, they don't exist. You have to live in reality, and every time one takes off their shirt, they ain't going to match up with that vision you have in your head of that. We talk about this a lot in Mgtow. We talk about it, but when I see it out there, and I see the idealism of it. There's an idea of it. What is that idea? It's the idea that things are going to go back to some special place, that there's some magic place, and it's magic thinking. We talk about magic thinking a lot in Mgtow and all that stuff, and the magic thinking that men out in that world, all the blue pill guys out in that world, they they got some pretty fuzzy ideas, some fuzzy logic going on about how the world really is. And I know it could be, it's easily deceived in a world with big buildings and things that men do, and you get deceived about that upper room. Oh man, there's some upper room and it's going to be mine. It's full of gold and shit, and I mean, you could get there. Maybe, I don't know, if you're a smart cat and you're running some luck in your life. And I thought I was there at one point in my life. Like I said, I was, hobnobbing with business owners in this big city, and thought I was on the verge of breaking it, making it, and then it all comes to a reality check that, I've never been in their club. They never wanted me in their club. They just wanted the money or my resources or my utility. And I wasn't invited in. No nouveau riche. Oh, that's funny. Remember when the nouveau riche was back there in the Clinton years? That was big. There's big, old money was like, why are these no millionaires? Oh God, they're so crass. They have no manners. Yeah, that was a big argument back in those days. Hello, Bobby Williams. Love that name, Bobby Williams. The tennis player, was it a runner? That was a runner. Bobby Williams was a runner. And Aaron Rubin. Hello, Taryn Marine, and whoever else is in. Let me see. Gilroy, Green Gravy. I love these interesting names. I just get the biggest kick. Don Schmidt and Schmidtke, Don Schmidtke. And yeah, hello everybody that showed up today. And today we're talking about the fantasy fiction world of incel porn, and we see it, but they use it on us, don't they? They use it on men's desires. Men have desires and our thirst. For incels, it's the thirst. I think most men, most average normal guys, have desires about how they envision this perfect utopian world that they're working hard for. And you guys are working hard all your life, man. I worked hard all my life. There was never a day. I remember years between vacations, and 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and sometimes 4 hours on Sunday. I mean, I'm working hard with that vision in my head of that place, and it's gonna be real. I'm gonna make it real. I'm gonna put this into. I'm gonna manifest this into reality. This inner theater that I have going on in my head of the perfect world. I'm gonna manifest that into reality, and I end up, like I said, most of us ended up doing reductionalism sometime, and I'll settle for a little less because maybe I'm a little more of a loser. You gotta come to that, but you're not. You're just normal. You're a normal guy, and I see a lot of guys. I'm a loser. My wife doesn't look as great as Matthew McConaughey's wife. I don't know what happened. Nobody gets one of those, the Jamie Lee Curtises in the world, or, I don't know what your idea of the perfect woman is. That's in your head. I mean, there's a few of them that used to run around, the Baywatch girls or something like that. And it was funny. What was that guy? He was from Kazakhstan. It was he did a movie, and he got a letter from being the biggest fan of what was a girl on the Baywatch. He was going to go visit her, and she was in love with him. That was just funny shit. Borak, yeah, Borak was going to go find Pamela Anderson, travel across the United States, hitchhike across, and Pamela Anderson was going to be waiting there. I thought that was the funniest thing. That was incel porn there too. Uh, Jesus. He's a really creative guy, but I think he was touching on something. He was touching on that inner fantasies that dwell inside of us all. I mean, the best thing you can do is get comfortable with yourself, buy yourself a vehicle that you like to drive, get yourself some comfortable shoes, and when you're at the store, always look for well-marbled meat. What else is there in this world? If you can afford that $9 six-pack of craft beers, I would say get it, because they don't get much better than that. And we draw up these fantasy fiction lives, and we all work, and we do this with we make, they make theme parks for this, Disneyland, and casinos are like places where everybody's got more money than everybody else, and you get to experience that grandeur, that grandness of what humans can do, and in those things. But you can buy that for a day, grab yourself $400 or $500 and go down to the casino, and they'll treat you like a king for a day. More money you bring, the better they treat you too. Trust me. But that's fantasy fiction for the most of us, and we got to get in touch with that in Mgtow. And every time I go down the video list to see what kind of Mgtow videos I want to watch, I have to start deciphering in my head what is incel porn and what is not incel porn. I mean, where's some useful information, and it's getting harder and harder in Mgtow all the time to decipher where I'm going to get some useful information that'll at least keep me entertained or intellectually stimulated. But that's that's the shape of Mgtow now. But since the incels have saturated Mgtow, all this time we were watching, we were always watching out for women are going to make their way into Mgtow, and we're vigilant, and we vigilantly guarded against that. But on the other side, we were letting incels and TFLs around us. And guess what they did? They did what they always do. They brought women in. Because that's all they really want anyways. And we're like, damn it. We fell for it again. We always fall for that. I tell the story of the analogy of the VFW bar that I used to go to when I got out of the Army. And there was no women in there. And one guy, he was like, damn it, I want to get my wife in here to cook you guys some dinners. So they let her in. And then 6 months later, there was 3 waitresses and 2 cooks and a wife, and they have great ideas, and you're not allowed to swear anymore, and that's not worth going to anymore, because that was always supposed to be a place where we talked about man shit, and we had a shoulder to lean on when we were feeling good, or about the things and the things that veterans do and have to go through. But they ruin that too. But that's the way Mgtow, I always seen that Mgtow was going to be destined for that too, because while we're being vigilant on one hand, and now we get all these videos now too, who let them in, how'd they get in? And it's like, you did, we all did. We let the incels in, and we let the TFLers stay around, and we fell for the trap of oh, you treat men bad, and you're just as bad as I'm just as bad as everybody else. And I'm not allowed to call an incel, or a TFL, and I'm not called an ass-tard. Somehow you have to disallow that stuff into your Mgtow vocabulary, because somehow he's a man too, and you're supposed to be tolerant of that stuff. But who the hell did you think was going to happen when we started not being vigilant against these people? And they were gonna, the PUAs, when we stop being vigilant against the idea of PUA, they're just gonna, yeah, they're gonna bring girls around. You think they were gonna keep them in their fucking storage cabinets? That's so fucking stupid. I mean, they're gonna bring them around because they're sick and they're addicted. Of course, they were gonna bring them around. They're gonna show them off like arm candy. It's like, look what I got. Yeah. And we'll go, yeah, you can have mine too. You sure can. Take 3 of them because that's pain there. And but yeah, where did we think that thing was going to go when we started being a little more moderate, a little more tolerant, and yeah, but nobody wants to take blame for that. Oh God, everybody hated me when I was like, no, that's not a Mgtow. And he was like, you're not the leader, Traversable. I'm saying, no, but that's not a Mgtow. And they're going, you're not the leader, Traversable. like they're retarded or something. And that's what I think. They're retarded. And I'm saying, okay, you can hang around with that cat because, man, you make a special couple. You're so special. And I spent years just taking shit from, I mean, through the bearings thing. Yeah, bearings was going to drop 100,000 TFLs and incels on you guys, and that was going to be okay. We're going to lower our standards so we we can be the explainers of Mgtow for the rest of their lives while they chip away at Mgtow ideologies. Jesus Christ. And they chipped away on it. Most of the time I seen guys this week, they don't even understand the Nawalt and AWalt thing. They think like all women are like that. Yeah, that's such a bland take it at face value. No, that's not a bland face value thing. AWalt was a response to Nawalt. Nawalt was women coming around telling, oh no, those women over there, they're the special one. They're the ones you're talking about, but I'm the one special unicorn. That was Nawalt. And we go, yeah, right. All women are like that because we know one thing, that this system, the city, the states, they've all did one thing. They've armed women with this metaphysical gun in the room that fires 6 shots. The 6 shots has like rape accusations in them, and they got violence accusations, and they got divorce, and they got I'm unhappy. And you got about 6 different things in there she can do to get out of any situation. He was emotionally abusive to me. Boom. That's AWOL there. All women have the ability to pull that trigger at any time, and the government will assist them. That's what AWOL is. It's not that all women are these guys come around and they think that all women are this, and then we do the inner theater again. That's what I wanted to talk about today. I should have named this the inner theater of all women are what you're mad about. Every single one of them out there are what you're mad about in your inner theater. And you start doing, and that tells on guys. That tells on them that they're doing incel porn. You're just doing incel porn on that too when you're doing the inner theater of all women are are as bad as whatever your episode or your event was that made you into a Mgtow. Now I don't do that. I used to do that a lot. It's like, man, I was so mad at one point after having to go through my my slavery process of divorce and then living through that and everything. I was like, oh yeah, they're all that way too. And then I realized that that was me living in my incel inner theater. and drawing up. No, it can't be possible. But no, a wall doesn't mean that to begin with. It means any time that you're going to go around one, you're putting yourself at risk, because they always have the metaphysical gun in the room to pull the trigger on you of domestic violence, assault, casual rape, verbal violence. They could say you held them, and that you'll get 10 years for holding them from exiting an egress. You kidnapped them. That's where they'll take that. There's a lot of different bullets in that metaphysical gun, and that's what AWOLT is. They all have one of those. No matter where it is, it's invisible, and you can't see. And some of them are rather nice, but they all have that gun. They can pull it out anytime they want. And that's what AWOLT is. That's what NOWALT is. She's trying to tell you that she's the one unicorn. And we get it around her all the time. And I'm the unicorn. That's why I do the I'm so pretty thing, because it drives them nuts. And I am. I'm so fucking gorgeous. But yeah, that's what. And some guys don't have that idea. They take it to this sub, the headline of AWOL. That's all women are like that, and they're doing the inner theater and they're mad. And I know until you get over this rage, until you go and you look out at the world and you go, no, it's not all that way. All I have to do is reduce risk in my life to nothing, and I will have no risk in my life. If I chose on that bar of risk to introduce levels of risk, like if I wanted to go out to the bar and knock one off, I'm introducing a level of risk with some chicken head in the neighborhood. And there's a lot of them. Every neighborhood's got a lot of chicken heads. They're all over around here. Really, I mean, if you're a halfway decent guy and everything, you're not going to do bad in that situation. In today's world, geez, I mean, really. Except if you're personable like me and you got this beautiful face and oh yeah, but yeah, that's AWOLT, and some of the guys weren't quite up to par with that, how the theory goes, and but we're gonna get that, and it's all the new guys coming in, and it's all incel porn, whatever. Incel porn goes so many different branches too. Like I said, there's apocalyptic world incel porn, and there's utopian world incel porn, and the third one that I should have talked about earlier was my idea of the inner theater incel porn, and all those girls are all the same, and they're like, and at that point they look like dragons. They all look evil. It's like my poem, and I should read my poem for you guys again that I wrote back in the day about they all look, back in that day, they all look evil. They all looked tarnished, and there was nothing to live for, and there was no beauty left in this world. And if that's where you're at in this thing, wow, it's like, man, Mgtow can drag you out of that thing. Mgtow can. It can really help, and it drags you into this world of reality. But man, the world of reality is so refreshing. I thought it was really refreshing, because I'm not fooling myself anymore, and I'm not putting those things in positions, myself in those positions of stupidity. CNN doing the same thing, bashing Donald Trump constantly. The media's used to sit up at the fake world news. Yeah, I can't understand what fake news is. I think it's all like manufactured and faked, and it's whatever whoever's putting it out, whether it's the Trump people or the Hillary people or the Sanders people or the Tucker Carlson people, they want that news to fit their worldview and their paradigm of the world. So of course it's going to reflect that paradigm of the world, and they do incel porn too. I mean, they're doing this, but these are people that generally get to live in those big houses. These are people that generally someone chose them as the winners, because they had some special quality of I don't know what that special quality is. I can't, that thing, that it, like Baker Mayfield, he has that it, he's going to be a freaking star. He's freaking Baker Mayfield. It's like Matthew McConaughey. He's got that it, you don't have it. I mean, I've got it. I mean, all my prettiness and shit. Jesus. Yeah, I wish I had a platform, be Mgtow. We talk about that all the time. Like Mgtow is going to get this platform, like these people up in, that building up there, which is probably the media building, that one right there. They're going to give Mgtow a platform. Keep dreaming, buddy. Keep dreaming, Sandman. Go for that TFM. Someday you'll have your own platform. Even Alex Jones don't get a platform. And they took it from him. You think about that. They took that from him when they didn't want him to have it no more, and they gave it to somebody else. Oh, man. I've been watching Gavin McGinnis lately. He's funny. He's hilarious. He's so crooked in his thinking that it's hilarious. He lives with the well-to-do people there in a well-to-do area in New York, out of the city actually, and his neighbors put up a hate. We don't live with hate around here, and it was pointed and directed. He was having fits about that, and that guy. I mean, who gave him that platform? It's like, wow, you guys, wow. Who's the director of platforms? I need some tech help here. Because, man, that guy's incompetent. Really, he is. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm a centrist, as you can see. I like to keep it all in the middle, somewhere where I can keep it straight in my head, because it's all too far. People go too far. And that's what Marx was talking about. People are fearful of reading Marx because someone's going to call you a commie. And no, Marx has some great ideas. And when Marx is he's anti-hypocritical. And he said, man, you know what's going to happen if these people take over, these people are going to have backlash. If these people take over these people, there's going to be backlash. Now, if these people do this and this, what we're going to have, and he prognosticated it. He says, we're going to have a community of women. And what he really wanted to say, but he didn't have the word feminism in his vocabulary back then, especially in Russia. And he says, we're going to have these feminists if you do this, this, and this. And he called it a community of women, and he prognosticated it perfectly. It wasn't his fault. He was just a messenger. Really. Everybody blames it on him. I was like, no, it wasn't his fault. He was just a messenger, ass. Don't shoot the messenger. Should have listened. Assholes, you should have listened. But no one listens. And what he really wanted just to be was a biologist, where he looked at plants, and herbologist and shit. It's like, damn, didn't get that dream, did you? But people are so silly, with their reading. Never fear something, read it. Whether it's good or bad, learn from it. I mean, that's what it is. Whatever you think about it, doesn't matter. Learn from it. That's where you win in life. But yeah, this incel porn, we got to rather define this thing and start calling it out. Nah, man, that's not we're not going back to the 50s. We're not, the conservatives think we're going back to the 50s. No, we're not. Too much water under that bridge. That bridge got swept away. It was a Katrina day there. Because you guys didn't do enough, back in the 80s and 70s, there were men's rights groups too, if you didn't realize that. Yes, there was. I was in a few. And yeah, we didn't do enough then, and we're not doing enough now. And that's the problem. We're not willing to, step up for our rights and do those things. The Million Man March was actually about as close as we ever got to men's rights. If you don't realize that, the Million Man March, I would like to get like a 10 million man march and nowadays, and that would be great, but we could never put that together because everybody would be like, everybody see my face, and then I might lose my job because everybody we'll just let you wear avatar masks, and then you can make your avatar mask and show up at the Million Man March. But that was quite an amazing feat. They got buses to bus people in. I guess we'd have to get a deal with the busing people in the trains and the airplane people. Yeah, but Airbuses into the Million Man March. But that's as close as we've ever been because we failed. That's because we got 90% of them people back there living in blue pill world, and they're still hustling and bustling, trying to get to that Disney fantasy fiction place where everything's perfect and there's unicorns prancing around, and it is. Then you can make the effigy of that too. You can build that house, put that woman in there, and it's just an effigy of that, of the perfect breasts. That's your effigy of it, and you can get pretty close to that if you want in this world. But when you get into it, when you step out of your fantasy into this, what do you have to do for that? How hard do you have to work? What are you going to have to put up with? How many diamond rings you're going to have to buy, and you're going to have to live in this world that's contracted onto all that, and she wants this, and you don't ever want her not to be happy because she can end it all like that. And that's not a good place to live. It's stressful. And they talk about, I was listening to I can't remember his name. He was saying in Ireland, they just passed a bill this week that emotional abuse is going to be illegal in Ireland. And I thought, great, we should make emotional abuse illegal in the United States too. And that way, men, when we take all this emotional abuse trying to provide all this unrealistic shit, and we kill ourselves, we'll just say, no, that's emotional abuse to males, and it should be illegal. They'll go, no, that's just for girls. That's when you make her unhappy. Yeah. Oh, see, gynocentrism sucks. Special rules for special people, I suppose. Yeah, so that's my subject today, living in incel fantasy worlds and what you call incel porn, and the whole world's got this idea of it. When I was kind of gathering my thoughts earlier, and what does the world think incel porn is? And Jank thinks it's that women make more money than men, and that makes him angry. Oh man, yeah, that's funny. Doesn't bother me one bit. As a matter of fact, I wish they would make more money, take care of themselves, find accountability and responsibility, take care of their children, because they're not my children. I can't have children, and just go on and be happy with that utopian world that they live in. It's like, man, make a lot of money. I hope I'll give you, man, if I have anything to say about it, I'll give you some raises and shit. But it's funny in Mgtow they complain about like the pay gap and everything. I said, no, don't complain about that shit. You want to give them somebody else's money. That's somebody else's money. Give that shit away. That's the rich people that live up there. They don't want to give their money away, but you give that away because I want them to take responsibility and accountability for themselves and never come see me again. Really, don't ask me for nothing. I'm a Mgtow. I mean, really, that's the way I think about that thing. Um, some of the silly arguments that we have around here is like, wow, no wonder we've been losing for 40, 50 years now because you guys are idiots. That's what I say to Paul Elam and Dr. Warren Farrell. It's like, man, no wonder we've been losing for 40 years now because you two are idiots. Yeah, chase them dragons, man. You're the white knight. Go chase those dragons, dude. It's like I'm just gonna sit over here on the Mgtow bench, eat some popcorn, and point and laugh at the dudes. That's my job. If I do it, that's my platform, pointing and laughing. Me and Bernard Chapin, at least, our platform is just sit back and you look at that ass. Because it's funny. It is funny, some of the lunatic ideas that they come up with. You're going to fight feminism. Yeah, that ship sailed. That ship sailed 40 years ago. God knows you weren't there. And I was actually there when I was a young child. And when that shit popped off, it was ugly and it was silly. And I was raised by hippies and I couldn't, man, I ran to the army. I couldn't get it. They said, can you let me in at 14? I mean, really, I'll kill something for you. That's the way I was. I was like, just get me out of this shit. I mean, get me out of this suburban life and hippie land. It's like, Jesus Christ, this is weird. But there was nothing I could do about it. At that time, I was a kid. I wish I had magic powers like in the like Superman or Batman. I don't think Batman. I think Batman has silent magic powers. He always can like punch a guy like once and he just knocks him out, and then he just punches another guy once and he knocks him out. And you go, no, Batman doesn't have superpowers. It's like, yeah, he does, dude. Really, come on, come to grips with that shit. He flies and shit. It's like, yeah, I wish I was that guy, but I'm not. And I have to live in the world which I have to live in, and pretty much most of the time it sucks, and it's hot, and it's cold, and it's too hot, or it's too cold, or I'm working too hard, and my knees hurt, and my feet hurt now, and I have 2 ruptured rotator cuffs that could pop out at any second because I've had them popped out 100 times before, and it gets old, and it starts sucking. And you realize that, man, what could have we done about this shit? How badly did we fail? You know why we failed? Because we let the incels make the decisions. Of course, their decision is going to be, hey, I got this idea about like letting this girl come into my life, and she's going to make everything perfect. We let the TFLers and the incellers and the men that aren't happy with themselves make all the decisions, and we wonder why this thing went all this shit. Yeah, I wish I had the pick of destiny. This is my pick. I made this today. I made them out of cardboard today, Riff. I was just punching these ones out of old lottery tickets because the little cardboard ones sound cool, but then you don't have to hold them as tight. And so I made a bunch of those up out of cardboard. I made a couple of thick ones, and I was kind of like but the cardboard ones, they sound cool. They got that that ching 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 sound, which is kind of desirable if you're doing a progression. Awesome. Cardboard picks. I should sell cardboard picks. They're just throwaway. Now, the first time I seen this, I was actually watching a band, and the guy had a whole bunch of them. He made cardboard picks, and he was using one, and he just flip them out, and they all had the band's name on them, and he would just flip them out into the audience, and everybody went home with a cardboard pick, and I picked one up, and I was like, dude, this is cardboard. That's a good idea. It's advertising for your band. If you don't, just sit there and punch out, you know, your name and just punch out some cardboard picks with your pick punch. And that's a good idea. But this is neither here nor there. I don't think it went to shit. I refuse to believe incels are. Yeah, incels aren't MGTOWs, and that's what I was saying there. We let them in. We didn't do our job somehow. We get shamed. We got shamed on that thing. They shamed us. They did the same thing that women do to us. They shamed us by saying, "You got to let us in because we're men too, and if you don't let us in, then you're those guys that just hate men." It's meninism, and that's when incels brought meninism, which is close to feminism, to MGTOW, and then they shamed us into letting them in. And I used to have conversations about that all the time. What are the tolerances we in MGTOW permit to come around here? Do we let the PUAs around? Well, yeah, the PUAs are going to bring around women. Well, that was a deep thought there. You know, what do? They're beggars. And the incels want women, and the TFLs desire women. And we let these people in, and we don't say nothing because we get shamed by them. It's like, and I see it 100 times in 100 comments every week. It's like, Joe, you shame other men. No, I shame simps and beggars and incels and TFLers. Go start your own group, dudes. But here we're MGTOWs, and we have this group that we just don't want all that garbage and drama around, but then they bring it in and we let them bring it in. So it's our fault once again. And I can't say it's not our fault because we got shamed. we fell for that again. You know, we always get shamed for those things. That's why I say the first thing you lose when you become a MGTOW is lose all that shame. Don't let people throw that shit on you. There's 100 different ways, and men do it too. Incels do it. They're like little girls. They'll shame you in a minute. That's a they are. The incels are like little girls. And I mean, they'll do frenemy on you, call forwarding. They will. Honest to God. Simps and white knights deserve to be shamed. Yeah, simps and white knights deserve to be shamed. Now, we went through this period in MGTOW where, man, that's an ad hominem. You can't say that. And you go, oh, wait a second, dude. It's not an ad hominem if it's true, and you're a simp. Yeah, it's not ad hominem if it's true. And if the dude's an asshole, and there's some weird thing in MGTOW that you're not allowed to call an ass an ass. There's a lot of asses around here. And we see it all day. We see some of the most cringy videos. It's like, God, this guy was coming. He was fully dressed Antifa with the mask and everything, and he was like, oh, I'm a Mgtow. And I was like, dude, that's like anti-trolling. You're just an ass. You're not a Mgtow. We got rules and standards around here. But yeah. We let anybody in, and we wonder why. There's been a question. I've seen 20 videos this week. Why are the MGTOW women coming around? They're WGTOWs, and they support, and they're there and everything. And it's like, yeah. Well, you know how that happened because we got tolerant of the incels, and we got tolerant. If just look at it, how it developed, and you'll see it. But I could show you right now. I got no female viewers. I guess they get sick of me. I don't care if they're in here anyways. It's up to you guys to block it. But that's what I'm saying. The community has to do it. You've got those 3 little dots on the side. If someone you don't like's in here, you just block the heck out of them. Go for it. It's like, that's what I say. I'm not here to do your work for you. And that's part of being MGTOW too, is doing your own work for you. Don't lay it on other MGTOWs. That's how we get shamed. It's like all my problems are somehow the world's problems. No, all my problems start with me and end with me. I do things sometimes that that I do over and over again. It's just the way I think about things, and I'll get myself in trouble every single time with that same problem because I consciously do it because I can't bend on it. It's one of these things in this world that I can't bend on, and but you know, that's me, and we all have those certain things, those certain ideologies that man, I'm not bending on that one, and because I'm right, and that the way we deal with our government, the way we deal with people in general, we all have that one thing we're not bending on. You know, the world thinks it's wrong, but you're like, no, dude. Hey, Whiskey, how are you today? Yeah, but it all starts with incel porn, working the things up in your brain that there's some magical mystery world out there that you just can't see. They hide it in an upper room. You got to get up the staircase to get there, and just keep working hard, man. You know how silly that is, man. You work hard, you'll get there. Yeah, yeah, I thought that. Harder you work, more they take. Yeah, I wasn't invited in. I don't know why, because I am really freaking pretty. I mean, I'm personable, I'm pretty, and I'm fun to be around. I think they would love me. But them are Freud's breasts. No matter what you drew in the inner theater of your brain, the world's not like that. The world's harsh and cruel, and it's got a bunch of astards out there, and I hate most of them, and they hate you. And that's the reality. That's the reality. I stopped at the store. We got a new coffee shop. It's the Friendship Kitchen, they call it. It's in my new coffee shop. They got pretty good coffee. I stopped on the way home, and they got a little Subway place too. They got these girls back there, these new girls. I can go to the convenient up there. They got the sandwich, Jill, the sandwich girl, and the sandwich shop next to that, which is I got a double sandwich shop, and now I got a three sandwich shops. So I got a choice now between sandwiches, which is great. So so that's my coffee. They got pretty good coffee. It's a dark roast I bought. It's not too bad. It's better than what you get in a restaurant. You ever get a really bad cup of coffee in a restaurant and they're like, yeah, pretty good, huh? You go, oh, this shit's bad. What is it, like that dollar a can that comes in a can this big from the dollar store? It's like, ooh, that stuff's bad. And I told you guys why you shouldn't drink that stuff. But that's the coffee economy. That's waste products. Uh, but today we're talking about incel porn and how we all do it and how we all did it in our past, and it's part of our simping. It's part of our maladies as men. We draw up this fantasy world, Freud's breasts in our head. You know, we got this picture of these perfect breasts, and no woman in the world ever comes up to those standards because no woman ever could, because it's a fantasy picture in your head. It's the inner theater working. That's what drives us. We're always driving towards that. Like, oh man, that unicorn's out there. I know it. No, she's not. No, she's not. And that's your picture. That's your private picture and everything. Um, I think we could take a look at this too. The Jacari window too. Do you guys know what the Jacari window is? It's 4 blocks of your personality, what things people see, what people don't see, what you see about yourself, and what you see in your head, something like that. But yeah, yeah, it was all pretty interesting back. Yeah, but yeah, we do that, and then somehow during this thing, we lost a little bit of Mgtow. I think we can regain it, get it back, but we can't be tolerant anymore. We can't all be nice guys about that. You guys need me because I go out there and I'm like, you're not a Mgtow, you're a simp. I'm not afraid to say it. And then I get all the abuse, and then I get all the guys going, yeah, Joe, he's mean. That Traversable Mgtow so mean. I'm protecting everybody. I was protecting everybody. I was. Because this is what happens when I get up in the morning and I see today's videos, and 20 of them are incel porn. It's like, dog, what has become of my beautiful nation of men? I don't know, man. I'm 24, and white picket was with two never really applied to me. Yeah. I tried to get it. I had it. It was right there. I had it. It's like I had both of my fangs into it, and I was getting ready to bite on that and I was going to take a big bite out of the world. And then my wife said she wasn't happy. And then the government came and kicked my ass. I was like, that cat's big. He's much bigger than me. Yeah, that cat's big. He's huge. He is. He got like thug lions working for him. I was almost there once. I had a pretty good life once. Hobnob in Cleveland. I was like, I remember getting these tickets to the Good People's event, and it was on one of those little cruise ships that come out, and got on, and there was the mayor, and me and the mayor at that time was Mike White. We knew each other, and he gave me a hug, and I said, hey, Joey, how you doing? And the lawyers were there, and all the good people, and my wife was like, I gotta get out of here. She made us leave that day. I was like, oh man, this is my dream. This is my dream. I was gonna be like that guy. Then she was unhappy. She had to destroy that. Self-sabotage, I thought it was. She was unhappy. So she self-sabotaged everything because she didn't have other dick or something. I don't know what it was. There was oh man. Yeah, I wasn't a cuck. I wasn't gonna allow that. But they get it anyways. They got the ultimate provider in Uncle Sam, and he kick your ass because he's bigger than you. He is. He's huge. But he doesn't have to be bigger than us because we got this group called Mgtow. And if we all get together, we could be bigger because we're badass anyways. We're monks, and we're badass, and we're better than we think we are. But that's the problem with men's rights. We can't all get together. We could be super badass if we wanted to, if we all just get together and agree that we needed to be super badass for a little bit. And there's nothing we couldn't do. Hell, we do that. We build those things. Look at that. We build those things. We sit up there, and then we forget how bad we are. But we'll get it together someday. Yeah, I've seen some horrible videos this week. I wasn't going to do no videos for a while. I don't know if I got a flu or some virus about a week ago. Dougie gave it to me. He got it too. He was horrible. He was snorting around the house like a little piggy. He was walking. He fell flat on that. He was so sick. He come out on the kitchen floor, and then you know how the tile, and then all 4 of his legs went. He was like laying there, like I was like, oh, I picked him up and took him back to his room, let him outside for a while. He was so sick, and then I got it, whatever it was dog flu or something. So even if you have a dog, they're gonna bring flus into your house. I'm kind of worried this swine flu is coming around. That's H1N1, yeah, and is coming around this year. Dougie got the flu. Damn it, Dougie. Yeah, he got it. I don't know where he got. You know what I think it was? Last week I told you he went out. He escaped from his leash. I don't know how that happened, and he ran around, and I was running after him for about an hour, and then he come back, and he had this big fucking sandwich in his mouth. He had got a sandwich somewhere. And I was like, "God, Doug, don't eat that." And then he ate it. And next thing I know, he's got shit running out of his ears and his nose, and he's got hot spots on his back end, and he's sick. And I'm like, ah, you idiot. He ate a sandwich he found. He thought that was the greatest. He was so happy too. I was like, oh, dude, you don't eat that. But you are my dog because I do that myself. I go out and get a sandwich and come home. But it's that time of the year, so be careful with that. Be careful if you, man, I rub some of that stuff on your hands when you go out. Make sure you don't bring it home. And H1N1. I remember getting the flu when I was younger. I've had swine flu and I've had the bird flu already because there was no protecting yourself back in the 70s from that shit. And it was horrible. And I remember thinking I was going to die and everything. But that just means now that I can't get those. I've already had the antibodies. Shout out to Doug. Yeah, he's doing a little bit better. I went out and I bought him these. I went out and bought him these special cans today. The special little cans. They were from the Wilderness Food Dog Store. They're really expensive, and they were like little cans like this big of duck. It was duck in a can, and I was like, "Here, Doug, have some duck." It's like you, and he was like, I'm feeling like rich, and so I got him 4 cans of that, and he ate it, and he was like, "Thanks, love you." Yeah, he was giving me the look of love the other day. After that, I was like, "Yeah, I love you." And Dougie's good; he's a good boy, but he's once in a while he does some crazy shit. He'll eat something off the street and just in a heartbeat. My other dog would do that too. He got sick about eating a sandwich off the street. And my last dog, uh, you can't teach. I was trying to teach Dougie how not to. He drinks puddle water. And I was like, don't drink puddle water. That's environmentally contaminated with whatever's in that cement and asphalt. And it's like it's in there's acid rain and shit. I'll get you the water, but he runs outside and there's always this one little puddle. And it's like, man, that shit's not good for you. And he might have drank a lot of puddle water. That made him sick too. That's probably more what made him sick. And I've been trying to teach him how not to drink puddle water. And it's sort of like trying to teach Republicans about the environment. He doesn't want to learn either. He doesn't want to learn about bad environmental shit that you shouldn't poison your water, but we do. We did that to people in Flint, Michigan, and nobody seems to care. It's like they just poison those people. That was the governor up there, and he's not going to go to jail for that. Yeah, yeah. I like what one person said about that. It's like in the history of our waterworks, no one has ever contaminated the water and poisoned the whole city until the governor of Detroit, or the governor of that Wisconsin, Michigan. He got away with it. He poisoned all those people and got away with it. Son of a bitch. Should be arrested. But that's a different view on things. But I'm trying to teach Dougie how not to do that, and that's quite a project. I seen a nice. He ruined all of his dolls, his teddy bears. I mean, he was going to town on them for a while, and he took them all outside and buried them. So I was going to buy him one today, and there was this really cute one. And it was like, that's perfect. She's it's a lion that's laying in a sexy pose, and that's his doll. I was going to buy that for Dougie, and he'd be like, "Thanks, Dad." That'll make him happy. That'll make him happy. He's a simp. He likes the dolls. So I'm going to buy that one for him. It was a sexy lion. Jesus. Must be easy to be a dog. You don't hunt no more. I haven't got to hunt this year. I haven't hunted for a little bit. That's because I have a dog and he don't hunt. I have a dog that don't hunt. So I don't get to hunt either. Now, Lady, she was a hunting dog. She would go hunting with me. And I love that. Love going out in the woods hunting. It's healthy for you, too. It gets you back to that man shit where you should be. Like, just pick some berries and eat them. Shoot a squirrel, not a shoot a rabbit, and like barbecue it, and yeah, that's some good stuff. Teach Doug how to Dougie, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna get him into one of these courses where they get Dougie in touch with his inner self. There he is, right there. He heard his name. He was like, talking about me, bitch. He doesn't sound like a pig. When he was sick, he said I was laughing at him. He was snorting through his, and I was like, "You sound just like a pig." And he was like looking at me with those vicious little looks he gives me. You look like a pig. And he's like, because he couldn't breathe, his nose was all screwed up. And I'll be right with you. I was going to close this down in a little while and let you out and give you one of those cans of duck if you wanted it. But today's subject was incel porn. We all do it, and we tolerate it around here, and it goes to certain levels, and it's between a level light, and people want to shame you with it. Never be shamed with that stuff, and never let it get in your head, or else they got you. They want you to be part of their political party. Either way, both parties use incel porn against us, and drawing up those fantasy fiction worlds that really don't exist, and except in men's heads, and then they got you. You're back on the farm again. Incels are subject to that. They will throw away everything for that thought, that dream of that white picket fence, and that special woman that looks like the breast in his head, but that's not reality. That's fantasy fiction land. That's Disney, Pixar, and that's not real. And but that's what they're feeding you. They're selling you a dream, and it's not going to come true. And that's where the Matrix is built on. That's where Blue Pill World is built on, taking advantage of guys that buy into that dream. And it's sad, and it's close to slavery, and we want to put an end to it, and we want to wake the world up, but it's not easy work. But we have to have things that we don't tolerate in here, and we don't let the incels bring around whatever they want, and we don't let the PUAs bring around whatever they want, and we don't let Dougie drag dead things into the house. Never drag dead things into your house. They stink and they're diseased. That's what you're doing when you bring certain things into your house. And that's about all I got to say today. And I'm getting over my dog flu. I don't know what they classify that, N1D1. And I'm starting to feel better. So maybe this week I'll make a couple videos. I don't know if I feel better. And I hope you're all doing well, and it's a new year, and we should have new dreams, and that new dream should be to forge Mgtow into a new existence, and that new existence is into every man's mind in the world, where he knows about these risks, and that would be a beautiful place to work and live, and just be a part of, where every man knows the risk. And once that happens, I think the world starts changing. But it's going to take every man. It's going to take teaching boys the difference between fantasy fiction land and reality, and that's going to be a big job. I hope you guys are up for it, because I am, and I want to punch a hole in the world. I want to punch a hole in all that psyche, and rip it apart and bring reality. That's my job. I hope you're with me, man. And like always, thanks a lot for being Mgtow. And thanks a lot for being men. And that's all I got to say. Each and every one of you have a great day, and Mgtow is all about you and only you. Together we can forge a new world. Yeah, I think so, if we do it together. But that's going to take some work. That's going to take some group dynamics. That's going to take a little balls and some big arms and some big nuts. we're going to have to start regulating this place because, well, this is the group that's going to do it. Ain't no one else. The MRAs, they ain't going to do it. They've been losing so long. They like losing. But we're not those men. We don't like losing. Like to see it happen in my lifetime where gynocentrism dies and everybody wakes up and goes, man, that shit's stupid. And why do we have men slaves? Why do women get men slaves? No, no more. No. It's up to each and one every one of you to do your part. Do my part. I'll keep doing it. Because that's all I got. That's all I got for today, man. Like always, thanks a lot for being Mgtow. Mgtow.